Enugu police arrest 21-year-old and accomplices over staged kidnapping and 2 million naira ransom frauds, recovered firearm and ammunition. Operatives of the Enugu State Police Command attached to the Nsukka sector of the Anti-Cultism Tactical Squad arrested 4 male suspects on May 24, 2025 at about 1 p.m. for conspiracy, staged kidnapping and defrauding the parents of a staged kidnapping victim of 2 million naira. The suspects including Chidera Godwin Ako, age 21, who orchestrated his own kidnap, Okechukwu Philip Chidalu, age 19, Ifeanyi Ugu, age 20, and Osai Chigoze, age 35, recently released from the Nigerian Correctional Service Custodial Center. A locally made single-barrel gun and 2 live cartridges were recovered from the suspects. Chidera was reported missing on May 4, 2025. Subsequently, on May 21, 2025, his accomplices used his phone to demand a 10 million naira ransom from his parents, sending a video of him bound, appearing beaten with a recovered gun pointed at him. The parents pleaded for his release and paid 1.5 million naira into a provided account on May 22, 2025, but the suspects failed to release him. After an additional 500,000 naira payment, the police operatives swiftly arrested Chidera and his accomplices at a POS center during an attempt to withdraw the funds. The suspects confessed to the crime and will be arraigned upon the completion of investigations. The Commissioner of Police, CP Maman Bitrus Giwa, while describing the criminal act as unfortunate, has ordered further arrest of anyone linked to the crime. He urges the public to report suspected kidnappings immediately and avoid hasty ransom payments, emphasizing that some cases, like this one, may be staged. Police operatives of Enugu State Command attached to Ozala Division in collaboration with Neighborhood Watch personnel on May 11, 2025 at about 3 p.m. smashed an armed robbery and mini truck snatching syndicate. One male suspect, Chinedu Onwuka, age 35, was arrested. The operatives also rescued a male victim who had been tied to a tree in the bush and recovered his Daihatsu hijet mini truck, locally known as Diana, which the suspect and his fleeing accomplices have stolen at gunpoint. The suspect and his gang had hired the driver to transport bags of sand from the Ubete area of Enugu to Umuatuaboma in Kano West local government area. However, along the Umuatuaboma Obofia Road, they diverted the vehicle into a bush at gunpoint, tied the driver to a tree, and fled with a truck. A prompt response by the operatives led to the arrest of the suspect, while others escaped. During interrogation, the suspect confessed to the crime and admitted to participating in a similar operation the previous month, for which he was paid 90,000 naira as proceeds from the sale of another snatched mini truck. Investigations are ongoing to apprehend the fleeing suspect. The Commissioner of Police, CP Maman Bitrus Giwa, has reaffirmed the command's unwavering resolve to clamp down on unrepentant criminals of his nature. He urges mini truck and other types of truck operators to remain vigilant and cautious about whom they accept conveyance jobs from and their destinations to avoid falling victim to such criminal acts.
Corruption, extortion, harassment or intimidation of citizens will not be tolerated under my watch. Any officer found culpable will face severe disciplinary action. Specifically, I have directed that the extortion of citizens before case documentation and handling must cease immediately, and that officers must refrain from meddling in civil matters, particularly land disputes, and instead explore alternative dispute resolution and restorative justice where applicable. I further warn them against unlawful arrest and prolonged detention without recourse to Western laws. I also emphasize the need for police officers to be emotionally intelligent and to put a human face to their work while coming down hard on unrepentant criminals and violators of the law. Recently, the command received a complaint via X, which is former Twitter, alleging the extortion of 250,000 naira by police officers attached to the distress response call. I immediately directed that the case be investigated and that the officers involved be tried in an courtroom. Once the trial process is concluded and the necessary approval is obtained from the Assistant Inspector General of Police on 13, since one of the team members holds the rank of Inspector of Police, the public will be duly informed of the punishment imposed. I have also ensured the redeployment of several supervisory officers and their subordinates who have conducted themselves unprofessionally to serve as a deterrent to others. I assure the public that I will spare no efforts in instilling discipline within the command and in upholding the ethics and codes that guide the activities of the Nigerian police force as a disciplinary institution. However, I seek the continued cooperation and support of all citizens in this regard. To enhance security, we are leveraging the state-of-the-art command and control center and distress call established by the Enugu State Government under His Excellency Dr. Enugu State. These initiatives, including modern technology, will be maximally utilized for effective policing, admissions, and cultism. 1. Case of unlawful possession of fire and arrest of suspects. On April 30th, 2025, at about 11 a.m., police operatives of the command attached to the distress response squad while on routine patrol along Udi Road, intercepted a commercial bus bound for Odisha and Anambra State. Upon searching the bag of one of the passengers, named Osomina Ahmadi, aged 28 years, of Amudu Masri in Afiku North, local government of Enugu State, recovered a locally made pistol. The suspect will be arraigned in court upon the conclusion of the ongoing investigation. The second case has to do with arrest of armed robbery suspects and recovery of firearms and ammunition and other exhibits. Following a report of threatening violence and assault, 2 male suspects, Orogu Chukwu, age 29, and Orogu Amechi, age 26, were arrested on the 27th of April 2025 at about 3 p.m. by operatives attached to our police division. The search warrant was executed at their residence on Harmony Road, Abakaliki, Enugu, which led to the recovery of 1 locally made pistol and 6 mobile phones. Upon interrogation, the suspects confessed to be members of an armed robbery gang and led operatives in a bush at Umuchigolike, Enugu, where a cut-to-size single-barrel gun and 2 rounds of 7.62 by 39 mm ammunition were recovered. Further investigation is ongoing to apprehend their accomplices and recover additional exhibits. The third case is a case of arrest of notorious cultists and armed robbery suspects and recovery of firearm and ammunition. Following a report of armed robbery and cultism, operatives attached to the Nsukka sector of the anti-cult tactical squad on April 24, 2025, arrested one Asokwa Kinsley, aka Severe, age 21. A Beretta pistol loaded with 5 live rounds of ammunition and an unregistered black Lexus car were recovered, along with a studio speaker and power bank stolen from the victim. The suspect confessed to the crime and identified himself as the leader of the Neo-Black Movement of Africa, otherwise known as the Black Axe. He's assisting in our investigation. The fourth case has to do with the case of arrest of suspects for conspiracy armed robbery, murder, and recovery of G3 assault rifle. These operatives also attached to anti-cultism tactical squad. On April 23, 2025, at about 4:45 p.m., recovered a G3 assault rifle with an empty magazine from 5 male suspects involved in a case of conspiracy, armed robbery, and murder. The suspects include 1. Sunday Akroyi aka Legba, age 32. Ofobike Promise Goji aka Ofo, age 32. Ebubechukwu Ikweme aka Achike, age 27. Chukwuebuka Obodo, age 33. Chinedu Emmanuel Eze, age 23. And Okechukwu Igwe aka Tiana, age 43. Akroyi, Igboji, and Ikweme were initially arrested for credible information. However, their confessional statements led to further arrest of Eze and Igwe respectively, and the recovery of the firearm. The suspects will be arraigned in court once our investigations are concluded. The fifth case has to do with arrest of an armed robbery and cultism suspect and recovery of firearms and other weapons. Acting on a distress call reported that about an armed robbery incident along the Enugu Expressway. Operatives of the anti-cult tactical squad promptly responded and arrested one Chukwuebuka Okafor, age 38, where the following items were recovered. 1. A cut-to-size single barrel gun. 2. 1 expanded cartridge. 3. 1 pickaxe. 4. 1 cutlass and 1 walkie-talkie. The suspect confessed to be a member of the Supreme Vikings Confraternity and is assisting in the investigation of our case towards enabling us to arrest his accomplices. The sixth case is a case of arrest of suspects for conspiracy, unlawful possession of ammunition, cultism, and recovery of exhibits. Following a tip-off about suspected cultist activities in Enugu South local area, operatives of the anti-cult tactical squad, they also arrested the following male suspect with him while others fled. 1. Iwo Daniel, age 25. Ugu Theophilus, age 45. And Okafor Augustine, age 30. They confessed to be members of the Blast Acts of Fraternity. One locally fabricated double barrel bomb and 1 expended and 14 live cartridges were recovered from them. The suspects have been arraigned in court and remanded in the Correctional Custodial Center and trafficking, and then rescue of child and arrest of suspects. Acting on intelligence, operating for our anti-kidnapping squad to rescue a 4-year-old girl in Abia State on the 25th of March 2025. She was stolen on March 15, 2025 by her family's neighbor, one Esther Dejo, age 55, who was later arrested in Enugu State on March 23, 2025. Her accomplice, Onyinye Benjamin, age 62, was also arrested in Abia State. Esther Dejo had rented an apartment in the same compound as the victim's parents in Edeobala, Nsukka local area, and kidnapped the child. Probably 2 weeks later, the suspects confessed and the case has been charged to court. So here, I have summary of the achievements which will be made known to you. The total number of suspects were arrested during my assumption of duty. That's in the past 2 months. I've arrested a total of 228 suspects, which includes number of suspects arrested for armed robbery 42, number of suspects arrested for kidnapping 33, number of suspects arrested for murder 12, number of suspects arrested for unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition 6, total number of suspects arrested for rape and defilement 5, total number of suspects arrested for cultism and associated crimes 44, total number of suspects arrested for varieties of crimes including stealing, breaking of fences, vandalism,
let's calm down, please.
149. Total number of persons we have rescued and the recoveries were made. Total number of 36 kidnapped victims have been successfully rescued, while a total of 44 firearms of different calibers have been recovered, including a G3 assault rifle. The total number of ammunition of different calibers recovered, 173. Total number of vehicular SUVs recovered, 20. In conclusion, gentlemen of the press, these brief descriptions of some of our modest operational successes are intended to provide insight into our unwavering efforts to combat crime in Enugu State.